In this video, we're going to explore Stable Diffusion 3.5. We're going to go through the latest updates about the Stable Diffusion models from Stability AI. This is essentially an image model where you give a prompt and it generates some beautiful looking pictures. So in this video, I'm going to show you guys what's new about these models. We're going to go through how to use this model using Google Colab instance so you guys can play with it. And we're going to go through some comparisons between these two models. By the way, I make similar videos like these on LLMs, machine learning, and other data science tools. So please feel free to subscribe. So first things first, what happened? So Stable Diffusion updated its Stable Diffusion 3 models. Now it's called Stable Diffusion 3.5. And we have three new large language models. We have the large model, the large turbo, and the large million. Sorry, my bad, 3.5 medium. One is around 8.1 billion parameters. This one is also 8.1 billion parameters. And this one is only 2.5 billion parameters, which means to deploy these type of models, it will be extremely simple. Well, not simple, but it's a bit cheaper. But nevertheless, they've talked about what changes they have made about this architecture and the model training process. They haven't, of course, provided the code for the architecture or how they trained, but they discussed a few things. According to them, these are the main features of the model. The fact that you can easily fine-tune this model and you can meet your specific creative needs. And it is actually highly performant. Now, what I like about this comparison is that here they show the GPU on this side of the column, and these are the different models over here. And as we can see, the Flux models, which are the best contender for these type of models, they require a really large amount of GPU power or compute power. However, the Stable Diffusion models, like the Stable Diffusion 3.5 large and turbo, require a minimum of 25 gigabytes of video RAM. And the Stable Diffusion 2.5 billion requires even less. Now, this is great news for people who want to productionize this model, making it very cheap and accessible for people. Now, let's look at some comparisons of these models. So over here, we have the very simple showcasing of different images generated by this model. But if we were to compare between Flux, which is the best contender when it comes to open source image generation model, I found this resource over here from Run Comfy. And here they are showing the various differences of image generated by the Stable Diffusion 3.5 and Flux. And as we can see, although they're very similar match with the same prompt, we can still see the polishedness of the image generated by the Stable Diffusion 3.5. Here is another example of an alien on a beach. Again, the Stable Diffusion 3.5 looks way more polished. Here's another picture. This one looks way more shinier, way more detailed. This one still looks really good from the Flux model, but still comparing or considering the smaller parameter of the model and the quality of generation, I think it's a pretty good win on the Stable Diffusion part. Over here, this one looks a bit more cartoonish and this one looks a bit more realistic. Similarly, a bit more realistic, a bit more cartoonish. I believe this image over here still looks a slightly fake almost, but still a very good image generation nevertheless. I think this is one picture where the Stable Diffusion, in my opinion, lost, because this one looks way more realistic to look at, except for a few small details, but this one looks completely cartoonish. Now, thankfully, they've provided the weights over here in Hugging Face Hub. You can actually get the access from it. And here I've made a Google Colab notebook, which I will provide in the description down below for you guys to play with. Okay, so here is Google Colab notebook. And I've got the code from the Hugging Face repository that they provided. And all you guys really have to do is need around 4 gigabytes of GPU. Actually, you need around 24 gigabytes of video memory. But over here, I happen to have a 40 gigabyte of A100 GPU over here. After done that, you're going to install these two packages, load the model. You will have to make sure that you have an HF token in your environment ready. After that, you just simply write a prompt and it will start generating images. So we're going to generate our first image. And while this is saving in our directory, I just want to quickly say that they've also provided the how to quantize this model into a 4-bit using bits and bytes, which is very nice of them. So if you guys are interested, I will also provide this code over here so you guys can play with it. Now, if we look at our directory, we can see this is got loaded. If you click on it, we are seeing that the astronaut is riding a muscle car and it is somehow folded inside of the car, which is very interesting. So let's try something different. Let's try a Mustang GT running away from erupting volcano, because why not? Volcano PNG, there you go. Took around 10-15 seconds to generate this image, just under 15 seconds. Click on that. And as we can see, we are seeing a Mustang GT running away from an erupting volcano. Really beautiful. One thing that I really want to show you guys is how good the performance is of this model. Now, as we guys saw, the prompt looked very, very close to the actual generated images, which does not happen very often when it comes to these 8 billion parameter image generation models. And this shows on the benchmarks too. We can see the prompt adherence of the SD 3.5 being extremely good compared to other models. And also the aesthetic quality is also quite good. Not as good as the Flux 12 billion, the dev version, but still, it is still amazing how it looks like. The quality is truly insane. Alright guys, that's a quick video on how to use this model. I hope you found this video insightful. If you guys did, please feel free to subscribe. I make similar videos like these. Alright guys, I hope to see you in my next video. Have a nice day.